Hi guys, I'm going to be going over section A and B, just the problems that you should have been working on already from checkpoint 2. It's on page 88 and 89. More specifically, I'm going over question 10, okay, from checkpoint 2. So everyone should have this out right now that have it complete. If you don't have it complete yet, please still pay attention. Go over this with me right now. And then when you go back and you do it, you're just basically going to do it again. So it should be more familiar to you. Okay? So question 10 says, hotel has 6 floors, each with 35 rooms. The hotel is fully occupied and the rooms cost 150 euros a night. Okay? So for question A, it says, how many rooms does the hotel have? Well, we know it has 6 floors and we know on each floor it has 35 rooms. So what do you think? On the first floor, 35 rooms. Second floor, 35 rooms. 35 rooms, so on and so forth. So all you're going to do here is go 35 multiplied by 6. And we just did a whole belt on multiplying, dividing, adding, subtracting. So this right here shouldn't be too difficult for us. We go 6 times 5, which is 30, so we put our 0 down, carry our 3. 3 times 6 is 18, plus 3 is 21. And that's our answer right there, 210 rooms. So you always want to make sure you know what that number is, okay? So let's go on to B now. How much income does the hotel have each night? Well, we have to now use a piece of information we've yet to use, so it's right here. 150 euros a night is what it costs, and euros is just dollars in Europe. So for B, we're going to have to use A because we want to know if, okay, if every room is used. So that's 210 rooms. If every room is used, how much money are we going to make in one night? Well, that's 210 rooms, each of which cost 150. So what do you think? We have to multiply. This is a 3 by 3 multiplication. Shouldn't be too difficult for us. We start with the 0. So it's going to be 0 times 0, which is 0, 0 times 1, which is 0, and 0 times 2, which is 0. Next, we're going to do the 5, okay? But we're going to start by putting a 0 underneath that first 0 right here, okay? 5 times 0 is 0, 5 times 1 is 5, and 5 times 2 is 10. Now we got to do the exact same process, now with the 1. But now we put 2 zeros down first before we start putting our answers in. 1 times 0 is 0, 1 times 1 is 1, and 1 times 2 is 2. Now we're just going to add these up. Shouldn't be anything new for us. The only new thing here is that we now have a problem where there's 3 steps and we have to use the previous answer each time to solve that question. So if we add them up here, 0, 0, 5, 1, 3. So for question B, how much income does the hotel have each night? Well, put our dollar sign there. The income is $31,000, $31,500. That's how much you're making per night. And the last question says, what would the total income be over a 14-day period? Well, this is one night, okay? They make $31,500 one night. And what we're saying, what if we had it all sold out for 14 days? What are we going to do? It's the exact same process. We're just multiplying, okay? So we should know this. 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times 5 is 20. I put my 0 down and carry my 2. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6, and 4 times 3 is 12. Next, we gotta do everything with the 1, but I put a 0 down first. 1 times 0 is 0, 1 times 0 is 0, 1 times 5 is 5, 1 times 1 is 1, and 1 times 3 is 3. And we add them up. 0, 0, 0, 11, so I carry my 1, 4, 4. The total amount of money that will be made over 14 days is $441,000 over a 14-day period. So if you need to now, if you're confused as to where these numbers came from, you can definitely go back, check them out. You can pause me right now. You can do whatever you need to do with this video. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to do a brief lesson on 0 and 1, which is section C. Now, section C is the first new topic that we're going to be dealing with, but I'm confident that this topic is going to be, it's going to come to us relatively quickly. First is 0. 0 is a special number, okay? When you add 0 to any number, we know that the solution is going to be whatever number it was you started with, okay? And where it gets tricky, and the same is true when you subtract. So if I take any number and I subtract nothing from it, I'm going to have the exact same number. Where it gets a little tricky is when you multiply. So if I take any number and I multiply it by 0, what's it equal? 0. Okay? So it always equals 0. These three right here, I think we're pretty confident. I'm confident in you guys right now, before having done this section at all, knowing these answers. Where it gets tricky is the last little part. I don't know why I drew that, but the last little part is dividing. So when you divide a number by 0, so for example, if we divide it, or if we take 0 and we divide it by any number, 15, my solution is always going to equal 0. Okay? When the number's on the left-hand side of the division, or if the number is inside, the little hat here for the division, your solution is always going to be 0. However, if your number is on the right-hand side, or if it's on the outside of the little hat, your solution is always going to be a word. And that word is right here. Undefined. I'm just putting a little abbreviation. I'm putting UNDE, but the word is undefined. Undefined. It basically means that it's impossible. You can't do it. Okay? And in section C, you're going to do questions that require you to evaluate, and it will say, evaluate if possible. Okay? And if you have something that looks like this, not possible. However, if you have something that looks like this, possible, because the answer is 0. Okay? There is a video for section C that is on Khan Academy, so you guys are going to watch that video, and it helps explain a little bit more about why this is undefined. Okay? The next section that I would like to go over, and this will be the last thing I talk about today, and now I'm going to unleash you, and you guys are going to, first off, thanks a million for the sub, alright, whoever's in here taking care of the class, but we're going to do index and exponent notation, okay? I'm going to go over this briefly, and I'm going to just touch up on it for in tomorrow's video as well, but there's some basics about exponents that I want to talk about, and it starts right here. You have to know what the parts of an exponent and the whole number are, okay? By that I mean this. If you have a number that looks like this, The 2 is called the base. And the 5, as you can imagine, is either called the exponent or the index. And you're going to notice if you do con videos, if you do Manga High, they call it index, okay? That's the European word. We use exponent in North America. It's the exact same thing, okay? Now, what's important, it's important that we have a look at this chart here. So you have to know this, and I want to look at this chart. Natural number. Natural number just basically means the number that it equals. So if I said 2 squared, so for example 2 squared right here, that means 2 times 2, and that's factorized form. 2 squared, if you write it like that, with a base and an exponent, okay? If you write it in this form right here, 2 squared, it means 2 times 2, and 2 times 2 we know equals 4. And they call it natural number. It could just say number, it could just say numeral is another one, or a simple form. Basically it just means the number. And here's the spoken form right here, 2 squared. If I say 2 cubed, or 2 raised to the 3, it means this, and it's written in factorized form. Factorized form just means it's written in multiplication form. 2 times 2 times 2. Well, if 2 times 2 is 4, we just have to multiply it by another 2, and the natural number is going to be 8. Okay? The best way to understand these is to do them. So these ones are saying write using index notation. So basically we're going to put these 2 questions in index form. So we're going to write it so it looks like this. Whatever number is being multiplied by itself a whole bunch of times is always going to be your base. So the 2 here is being multiplied by itself. Down here, it's the 5. So 5 is going to be my base. And what do you think my exponent's going to be? It's going to be the amount of 5s that I have. 1, 2, 3. And for B, there's 2 different numbers being multiplied here. There's a 2. So for those 2, the base is going to be 2. Bring down my multiplication. And there's a 3. So for these ones, the 3 is going to be my base. How many 2's do I have? 1, 2. How many 3's do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's how I write it in index form. So before I unleash you, I don't know if you've done this already. That's it. That's all I'm teaching for right now. All right. I want to make sure that you guys start class the right way, even if I'm not there. So everyone put them up before we get going. On 3. 1, 2, 3, let's! Have a good class.